So you have a prophet preaching what looks like total nonviolence to the point of death, and then you have Muhammad and his followers.
Well, firstly, I would oppose this characterization that Muhammad and his followers are people of the sword. I mean, I think it's a completely ridiculous characterization. It's polemical because anyone who sort of studies the life of Muhammad, firstly, for about 12 years, they are practicing nonviolence, like in Mecca, where they're vulnerable, right? And when that nonviolent practice, and interesting, the word jihad is used in the Meccan verses of the Quran to mean nonviolent resistance. Like the verb jihad is used to mean that. Now, what happens is they're getting harmed, right, by the Meccans. So the first reaction is not to fight back; it's to leave. A bunch of Muslims go to Abyssinia, where the Meccans chase them, and it's the Christian king of Abyssinia who says to the Meccans, "You can't touch these guys. Their beliefs are very close to mine." So the first response by Muhammad, first it was nonviolence. That didn't work because remember, Muhammad has a duty to protect his community. God is the ultimate protector, we would all agree, but God works through his chosen humans. So if God says, I will protect the believers, that actually is Muhammad's job. Muhammad has to protect. But even when Muhammad protects, violence was the last resort. So first, nonviolent resistance didn't work. Then flee, like migration.
Yeah.
So they first went to Abyssinia. It didn't work out. Then they go to Medina, right? That's called the Hijrah. So in 622, Muhammad and you know, they had to sneak out of Mecca. An assassination attempt. The night Muhammad left Mecca, all the tribes sent an assassin to his bed to kill him. And Muhammad knew this, so his cousin Ali slept in his bed. Right? So his life was at stake. So he moves, and the whole community moves with him to Medina. And he's invited to Medina because Medina is full of warring clans, and they heard Muhammad is a peaceful man. So they said, Muhammad, come and make peace for all of us, like arbitrate our conflict. So that's what Muhammad does. Now, then what happens is the Meccans put a bounty on Muhammad, and they tell the tribes of Medina, give Muhammad up, or we're going to come kill you guys. I mean, this is what the sources say. So Muhammad only has to resort to violence as a defensive measure. And we need to keep in mind that in Arabia, they didn't practice eye for an eye. They practiced like 500 eyes for an eye. Like the tribal warfare was so bad, if one person dies by accident, they wouldn't demand like one equivalent. Another tribe would be like, we'll kill 500. Right. And the Quran responds to the 500 eyes for an eye by saying, no, eye for an eye is fine. And if you can forgive them, that's even better. So I would say that this sort of nonviolence is the goal, but you cannot practice nonviolence if there's nobody left to practice nonviolence. And I would take a contemporary example, with all due respect to both of you, but pacifism would not work to defeat the Nazis. It would not work to defeat the communists, right?
Yeah, it doesn't work on a world or universal level.
Right.
That's why there are few who are called out. But the point was, Dr. Andani, that the last resort, according to our understanding of Jesus and his apostles, the last resort was love your enemy, even unto death. I understand that Muhammad, I've heard this argument that, well, he had to resort to basically lethal self-defense, which is the position of the majority of Christendom, which we disagree with vehemently, this ministry. And we're few, we're rare, but we believe that Jesus' last resort was love of enemy till the end.
Again, with all respect to you and your ministry, and I think like what you're preaching is an ideal.
It's Jesus' teachings, and that's what we're trying to follow.
Well, that's totally fine. I just think that if you were out with if somebody tried to hurt your family, you probably use violence to stop somebody from hurting your family. So all I'm saying is that from a Muslim perspective, from a Quranic perspective,
Mhm.
there are what you could say several values that have to be practiced, and one of the values is peace, but
Sure.
the other value is sort of protection,
Yep.
responsibility,
Oh, yeah.
and
Mhm.
Muhammad had to sort of practice both.
If people wanted to know the sort of non-conscientious objection point of view, I wrote an article when I was getting my degree in theology called Christian Suicide Must Stop. My strongest argument was that in international wars, Christians kill each other. I made the point that Wesleyan ministers are not allowed to bear arms. What are we saying there? Why don't we let the clergy bear arms? What are we saying? It seems obscene for the clergy to kill each other. It seems to me, and I can be wrong here, but it seems very odd for Christians to be killing each other in war.